therapist has come to the recommendation that I not have like a direct boss.
Stop. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's crazy, girl. That's crazy. I feel like it's my lead. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. How is this turning back to me? How does this happen to be? At least back in the day, I could be like, yo, at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, okay? And we could break away and I could just like push back on the chat a little bit and cook you and tell you that I'm going to serve you a 3-minute ad break and you can avoid it by subscribing for $6 or free with Twitch Prime, or that you can get gifted stuff. Apparently, this is another thing that's like going viral. It's like, it's gone now. It's cooked. That ass though, when do I know if the waitress is into me? Because my friend said she was, but I didn't think so. That's a risky play. You're probably, if you're asking that question, you're a novice, okay? That's like expert level. So it's better to assume that that's not the case until she literally makes a move on you directly and aggressively, okay? So just always assume that that is not the case. You understand me? My partner watches this financial audit show all the time and invites me to watch as well. I always refuse. Woman definer, family man, fisherman, occasional meme maker, son of the Northwoods, midwit, police body cam edits and highlights, election expert. This is not the guy. Paul is a guy clipping this guy who is an auditor or whatever. Me, Michelle, and Stephanie, a Zoomer lesbian couple who have some debt problems. They clear about $7,200 a month and are behind on their student loans. You may ask, why can't they pay their student loans? Well, we're going to cover that. This episode is deceptive because you think one of them is responsible, but they aren't.
Who decided they wanted to come on, or was this a co-effort?
Definitely her.
It was me.
Really?
She didn't know about it until after. I didn't tell her I applied for the show until after I spoke with Lindsay the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you want to be here?
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Okay, so let's start with you, Stephanie. What do you do for a living? Mesa, Arizona.
I'm a registered nurse at one of the hospitals.
Very cool. What are you making?
I make $36 an hour,
Oh, okay. Thank goodness.
but I get an 18% differential for nights.
So what about us coming in on a monthly basis? What hits your account on a monthly basis?
From my paycheck, I believe it's about $4,400.
What do you do?
I work at Arizona State University in the grants department doing like reporting.
Okay, cool. What do you make?
$49,500.
A year?
Yes,
49.
annually,
Okay.
yeah.
What hits your account on a monthly basis typically?
Like $1,300. Oh, sorry.
No.
$2,600.
I had closer to payroll coming in of about 9,800.
I used to like this guy, but then I realized he just clowns on people having much deeper issues. It's truly the most stop avocado toast thing. Is this
Great.
like that Graham guy, but for Zoomers?
So this is a 3 paycheck month.
You should go on the show. I have what? Why would I go on the show of a guy who is not going to be able to give me any advice whatsoever? My finances are better than his. I promise you.
Why do you pass due? It's on.
Wait, what? A little glimpse of what is going on here. Okay, give me the, I don't want these clips. I just want the actual video. Send me the OG video, please. Look at his thumbnails, bro. They're pretty brutal. Most childish couple I've ever had on the financial audit. This is an hour and 20 minutes long. She's batshit insane. Nasty woman. Delusional lady destroys life to hurt her ex. Financial audit's most toxic couple. Wait. Is this guy, did this guy go from doing financial audits to doing like supercharged misogyny? What the hell? What? Pretty sure I saw a clip of this guy shitting on you owning a house. Wait, what? From a financial point of view? Wait, hold on. Please tell me that's the case. Caleb Hammer, HasanAbi. Oh my God, there's no way. No shot. He's a Destiny fan and an Elon fan. Oh, that's amazing. I see one anti-incel one. Yeah, he might not be just like a pure blooded incel. These might just be clickbait. Okay, all right. I can't watch a whole hour, so I'm just gonna watch these freaking clips now.
Why do you pass due? It's 162, so that's your monthly? Yeah, 163 you said. Okay. Yeah. How? Why? You make money. You guys bring in $7,000 a month net. What is happening?
Oh, I didn't have the money to pay.
You make $7,000 a month net across the board. What are you talking about? And we're all combined. It's not even I didn't have enough money.
Yeah, I didn't have money in my debit account to
What,
pay.
your debit account? You mean checking account?
Yeah.
Listen,
checking account.
$7,000 net. This is literally 2.3% of your net income. 2.3%. You couldn't make the fucking payment.
Not at the time.
How?
I was waiting
Why?
for my
Where'd
next
the money
paycheck.
go?
It
Where
was
would the
like-
money go? Where would the money go? Where would the money go? You make $7,000 a month. How much was spent this last month, guys? How much was spent?
We make 7,000.
No,
is it-
7,000.
I'm going to say
I'll even be
maybe-
more generous because it was a triple paycheck month. You made 9,000 that last month. You normally make 7,000, but you made 9,000. So what did you spend, guys? What did you spend?
I would
What,
say
like
probably
10,000?
10,000. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. $21,000, guys. You open new debts.
So you may ask, why can't she afford $200 a month? Well, it's because they're spending 3x what they bring in a month on Disney and bad shopping habits. What?
Did buy a couple things in November. So in November, a couple days before we found out that Disney was dropping their annual passes.
Okay.
And when I was in nursing school,
Come on.
we said,
Okay, I don't hate this guy so far, unless this is like a made up story. This is insane. Like, there are a lot of people who are just like financially unimaginably irresponsible.
Talking about Disney right now.
Yes.
We're having a conversation about f***ing Mickey and his little mouse. What are we doing?
well, I told myself it would be my treat for like finishing nursing school.
You don't get treats if you're not paying your fucking bills. You haven't paid for nursing school yet. You owe on it still. Oh, okay, what?
So the passes were $2,000
For the both of us.
For
What?
both of us.
For fucking what?
For the whole year. So now we can go
Anytime we
whenever
want.
we want.
To any park at any time.
Just to Disney, the Disneyland parks.
yeah.
Which, wait, but that still doesn't make sense. She making $7,000 a month. Passes are $2,000 a month, or passes are $2,000 a year. Wait, what? Okay, 2K flat. That's not that bad. I mean, it's still a scam if you're not really into Disney, but it seems like they are. But I don't understand. For most of the people he has on the show, it's like a death by 1,000 cuts with DoorDash. He's not bad. He's tough love, and thumbnails are bait. He's addressed it before, I believe. Something about watching this, the millennial Dave Ramsey is worse than watching 30 minutes of Pusock. No, Dave Ramsey is far worse than this guy. I don't think this guy is anywhere near as bad as Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is like also shown in schools, from what I understand. So unless he's done something horrifying that I don't know of, like, he's not.
Which one's that?
In California.
Oh, shitty one?
No, I think it's the better
It's
one.
the best one.
Isn't
think
it
it's-
much smaller?
It actually has the same amount of rides almost as the one in Florida.
But the one in
How
Florida
are you
has
guys
more.
getting there from Mesa?
Getting what? Getting
Pass.
It's in LA, so it
Oh.
costs money to get there.
yeah,
We drive.
We drive there.
Okay, well, so you're getting places to live. Does it cover the place to live when you're there?
Nope.
No, we just get a hotel.
Yeah, Disney is so expensive. They're both irresponsible, and this is where Caleb realizes it, realizing that what their debt situation is, knowing lesbian marriage statistics. Caleb asked them, why would you get married? Wait, what? Lesbian marriage statistics? How can society survive without millions of legions? What is this guy saying? Yeah, it is. Oh my God, they're driving from Mesa, Arizona to Disneyland. Yeah, they are incredibly irresponsible with their finances, and they should probably cut down on the Disney trips. But also, watch this video next.
My therapist has come to the recommendation that I not have like a direct boss.
Stop. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's crazy, girl. That's crazy. Who amongst us hasn't? That's why I'm doing what I do, because my therapist told me. What the fuck? No, there's no way, dude. This is like, these are actors, right? There's no way. I gotta do more relationship related content. I think there's a lot of rudderless ships out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of men who need this advice and help.
Girl, you're not going to survive.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I really don't understand the purpose then. This doesn't make sense. You're not going to survive in this world. Everyone has a boss.
Do you?
Yes, the audience.
Uh-huh.
I have a boss. The platform that I'm on, I have to follow the rules and regulations, or else no money.
Kind of like when I was pet sitting and making $2,000 a month, and I was my own boss.
Kind of. I mean, they're still your boss. The people hiring you and paying you. Yeah, they hire you, and they.
I think she's owning him in the marketplace of ideas right now. I'm not gonna lie. When he said like I have a boss, the audience, it's like, yeah, me too, dog. Not real. Okay, it's not a real situation. She's owning you big time right now.
I don't have to hire you again. What the fuck are you talking about?
Because
there's a direct level of management that might be different, but they're still your boss. What the fuck?
Your boss versus your income is different. So your boss is who sets your schedule.
They hire you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
No, listen, if people aren't willing to hire you based on the schedule you say on Rover, then they are still setting your schedule because they don't want to hire you based on your schedule.
That's not setting my schedule. Setting my schedule is...
Okay, low key, the weird outfit wearing lady is not wrong. Like, it's obvious what she's saying. What she's saying is like having more autonomy over her own schedule, like being self-employed. So I don't know why this is supposed to make like this is only, yeah, those are clients. Those are not bosses in that situation. Those are clients.
What days I'm available to do it.
You can say going into a job interview, these are the days that I'm not able to do things, and they will still judge your hiring based on that. Just like someone on Rover is judging your.
Okay. He's I don't know why he's dying on this hill. Yeah, Kirsten Cinema is right. I can't believe I'm saying this, but at the end of the day, working as a contractor in that same vein is very different. I mean, you can still be a contractor and have a boss, by the way, but you know, you get a lot more freedom as someone who is self-employed rather than working for someone else as a wage laborer.
You're booking based on that.
That doesn't make them my boss, does it?
Okay, you're just viewing it in a slightly different way. Whatever, that's okay. And I think you want to view it on a very like corporate overlord versus like you are accountable to someone.
I am accountable to myself and my clients that I make.
You're accountable to Subaru because you owe them money and you signed a contract.
Yeah, that was.
And you're like, I don't want to have a boss. Well, you said your therapist said you shouldn't have a.
That's not Kirsten Cinema. That's Stephanie from Full House circa 1994. He's very stupid, but you don't realize it until you see like 5 clips of him in a row because usually his guests are slightly more stupid. I mean, you just described the internet. That's like people say that about me too. Like, I don't think she's wrong for not wanting to have a boss. Like, you can be an independent contractor. You just have to make money. Like the problem here is not that she's self-employed. It's that she's not making money. Slammer post about the new naming of the Gulf. Oh yeah, I saw this. I mean, this is just like, dude. If an American-owned application changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America is that big of a deal for you, this is low effort stuff. Okay. It's basically another demonstration that we have no motion. We've lost it, you know? It's just like, this is what we're stoked on. Oh my God, it's awesome. It's amazing. I can't believe, like, nobody cares. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand how this is a significant move. This is stuff Erdogan would do is true. By the way, in Saudi, my Google Maps says Gulf of Mexico, in parentheses, Gulf of America. Yeah, I think for outside of the United States of America, it still says Gulf of Mexico and in parentheses, Gulf of America. I work in the Gulf of Mexico and no one calls it the Gulf of America. This is some freedom fries shit, dude. That's what I mean. This is like, oh yeah, we're gonna rename French fries to freedom fries. Like, who cares? Like, even if this was here's my take. Okay, this is such no motion shit. Like, changing the name of Gulf of Mexico on Google Maps to Gulf of America is unimaginably low motion. No motion whatsoever. It is akin to when the American government decided to change the name of French fries to freedom fries for a brief moment, only to take it back. It just doesn't, like, this doesn't impact anyone's lives at all. It also, and this is perhaps a little bit surprising of me to say, it also is not unwarranted, okay? It's one of the few instances where changing this from the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America is not like that insane of a demand. Okay. Listen to me on this one. Okay. One, the United States of America is not the only American country. It is literally the continent. And there's also a shit ton of coastline on the Gulf of Mexico that the United States of America also has. So not only is it pointless, but it also genuinely is not like that insane, I guess. You can say that the Gulf is surrounded by the continent of America. Exactly. So it's like, it's a very weird thing that the worst people are pointing to as like a massive victory or whatever. It's so dumb. And ultimately, I think it's just not significant. I don't know if this is truly, because whenever Trump does stuff like this, there are like the conspiracy blue and on liberals that'll be like, this is actually to make treaties void, or this is because Donald Trump is going to engage in drilling. Like he didn't change the name to the Gulf of Trump, right? As Fizz also said, it's correct. It's like he changed it to Gulf of America. It's not like that crazy of a demand in general. And also, it's basically just on Google Maps, which is an American company. It's useless, it's petty, and also simultaneously, in a weird way, it's not like the worst thing. Do you know what I mean? Because like I said, this is the continent, you know? This is the North American continent, and therefore, it's valid to say it's the Gulf of America. So it's one of those weird things that Trump did where I just don't care about it at all. And I don't think it's all that significant. I think ultimately the other stuff that he's doing is way worse. You shut up right now, law. It's not the Gulf of the United States of America. It's the Gulf of America. This must be so cool if you're a idiot. Yeah, no, this is the correct take as well. It's just like, it just is not like, I think a part of the reason why Republicans really like this is because they're stupid and they think this matters. They think this is like a massively consequential thing. Like it shows American dominance, right? It's just a thing. It's not that significant. And it makes no sense to hype this up as though this is the best thing that's ever happened. Okay, they've done it. Gulf of America, like Pog. I'm pogging right now. This is so sick. In the Donald Trump is destroying this country paradigm, if I were to do a tier list of all the awful things that he's done, this doesn't even make the first 50. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? Like this does not crack the top 50 at all. Especially because if this was done in collaboration with like Mexico as well, and it wasn't Trump doing it, and it was like, hey, in order to showcase our friendship and the fact that we are on the same continent and we are incredibly important allies, we are now switching the name of the Gulf of Mexico in unison with the Mexican government to the Gulf of the Americas. Like most people would go, okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? In the past 2 weeks, about to be his first month in, Donald Trump has done so much awful shit. So much that it makes no sense to spend any time on this. Hasan, you're trying to explain change to a chat that had a meltdown when you change mic cover colors. Fair, true. But yeah, this is all aesthetics. Why would it be the Americas when it's just North America? Okay, Gulf of America is actually a decent naming convention for it as well, for the record. But again, it's silly stuff. It's low motion. He's an old white guy. Like most old white guys, he loves maps. I think he sees changing the map in as many ways as possible as the lasting legacy he will have. Obviously, there are other reasons for Canada, Greenland, and Panama, but I think the hubris is another factor. Yeah, it's just like a silly thing. It's low motion. It's silly. It's perfect for Donald Trump. It's perfect red meat for his base that they can just like add on to all of the amazing things that our glorious president is doing. It's like, fix the goddamn egg prices, man. Okay. What happened to tackling inflation, you dingus? That's what you ran on. What happened? Instead, it's business as usual. And the irony, of course, is that nothing is different, even with his like handling of Ukraine, for example. Like when he talks about Ukraine, this is a big point of contention now. He just like openly is saying, we want $500 billion worth of your minerals. Okay. That in and of itself is literally, and I cannot stress this enough, identical to the ways in which we have interest in Ukraine from the jump. Okay. It's just openly stating that reality. That's the only difference between Donald Trump, is just that he says the quiet part out loud. Okay, that's it. Just like the Biden administration also quietly was trying to do a mass relocation initiative for all the Palestinians, and the Egyptian government said no. The Jordanian government said no. They all basically said, no, that's a ridiculous thing. We're not going to do mass ethnic displacement in the Gaza Strip. Donald Trump was like, no, you have to do it. That's it. It's not quiet. It's just loud, but the policies don't actually change. To be fair, Mexico's an indigenous name. America is a colonizer name. I don't really care though. What's really crazy is how quickly certain corps have caved, like TikTok. Yeah, no, there is no resistance whatsoever to this iteration of Trump. That much is a certainty. If anything, I think every institution is basically telling you that reality over and over again. And there is seemingly no counter to this kind of nonsense anyway. The craziest part of me about him saying this stuff out loud is how he was impeached over doing what is in essence the same type of quid pro quo with Ukraine. No, there's a difference between the initial impeachment for his quid pro quo with Ukraine. That was for his own personal. That was directly to fuck over the person that he was running against, right? He wanted dirt. He was like, there are Congress approved weapons that are supposed to be transferred to you. I'm going to do something that is unconstitutional and stop those weapons from going to you unless you give me some blackmail. Okay. If you give me some blackmail, I'll continue those weapons transfers. But if you give me some blackmail on Joe Biden, I will, continue the weapons transfers flowing into Ukraine. That was for something that is like deliberately his own personal. That was something that he did specifically for his own personal gain. It was a very selfish thing that he was doing. So that's a little bit different than when he says, Ukraine, if you have a lot of rare earth minerals, I want it. We'll keep giving you weapons, but you have to give us the minerals. That in and of itself is just American foreign policy laid out in full display. It is very similar to when Donald Trump, the last time around, basically turned around and said, after it came out that MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, had assassinated Jamal Khashoggi, an American legal permanent resident and a Washington Post journalist, when he got him, MBS basically assassinated him in the Turkish Saudi embassy, okay? When that happened, everyone was like, whoa, what the hell? Are you still going to give weapons to Saudi Arabia? And he basically turned around and said, what are you going to do? Do you have $1 billion? If they don't buy it from us, they're going to buy it from somewhere else. Do you have $1 billion to buy these weapons? Somebody's got to buy these weapons. That is American foreign policy. But you rarely ever hear American foreign policy be so openly explained in this way. Usually, Democrats at least know that you have to masquerade as like someone who cares about the rules and someone who is interested in, upholding a certain moral position, a certain moral posture. That's why the Israel stuff under Democratic rulership was incredibly difficult for them to deal with while also propagandizing, because it was very obviously at odds with the international rule-based order, right? It was very obviously at odds with that, and the Democrats could not contend with that reality, and they had a very hard time taking a defensive posture in the ways that they normally would. Trump doesn't do that. He just openly will be like, yep, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, this is it. This is my thing. I'm going to get money in return for all the weapons that we're giving to Ukraine. That's a good thing, though. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing because it still continues American foreign policy, and that is damaging and devastating for the entire globe. So I don't think it's like necessarily a better thing. And as we saw after the first Trump administration ended and the Biden administration began, it didn't really change the dynamic for the Democrats at all. I'll give you the best example of this. Donald Trump considered the Ansar Allah administration, the Ansar Allah movement, to be a terror group. Okay. Why did he do that? Well, because Saudi Arabia was pummeling Yemen at the time. They were doing a genocide in Yemen at the time. For those of you who don't know, against the Ansar Allah movement. And Saudi Arabia had his own dog in the fight, basically. They had their own parallel government that was the initial government originally. And Donald Trump, being MBS's favorite guy, MBS, who also obviously purchased a bunch of Jared Kushner properties and gave Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, billions of dollars. Donald Trump did the bidding of both Israel and Saudi Arabia willingly. For Israel, he put sanctions on the former ICC prosecutor. He's putting sanctions on this one as well, by the way. And for Saudi Arabia, he put the Ansar Allah movement as a state-designated terror group. Okay? Now, under the Biden administration, the argument I was making is that this is still a continuation, right? Like American foreign policy goes in one direction. The Biden administration took the Ansar Allah movement out of the state-sponsored terror designation. And that came, of course, alongside China coming in and cutting a side deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran, normalizing relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. The Yemeni retaliation was far too much for Saudi Arabia, and therefore, for them, they basically wanted to put an end to the fighting anyway, okay, for financial reasons. So they did that. And the Biden administration took Ansar Allah off the terror designation. But what did the Biden administration do? After October 7 and Israel doing a genocide in Gaza, the Ansar Allah movement came out and was the de facto government of Yemen at this point, and said, we are going to put a blockade on the Red Sea. We are going to intercept all vessels that are going through the Red Sea, whether they are directly connected to Israel or they're stopping at Israeli ports, or in any way, shape, or form, not collaborating with this blockade. As long as Israel is still doing a genocide, this blockade will continue. And they started doing that. They started intercepting ships. They started taking ships. They started taking hostages. Okay. And the American government called that piracy, and the Biden administration started Operation Prosperity Guardian and put the Ansar Allah movement back on the terror list. So it's literally a continuation. No matter what, American foreign policy does not deviate all that much from one leadership to the next. There is a direction that it's going in almost always, regardless of whether a Democrat is in charge or a Republican is in charge. That's it, because foreign policy is uniparty in this country. The Democrats, on the one hand, will do their very best. The Democrats, on the one hand, will do their very best to basically try and make it seem like what they're doing is at the behest of a international rule-based order. Laughable notion when they are attached to Israel by the hip and are allowing Israel to continue doing a genocide with the weapons that we're sending to Israel. But they still try to make it, they still try to manufacture consent for that, right? That's why they did the port, for example. Remember the port? The $250 million port that was basically just for Israel, for America to say, no, Israel's letting aid into Gaza. See, we have a port there. Port never worked. Didn't matter. The one time they utilized the port was when they, used it for an Israeli military campaign, as a matter of fact. It was a floating pile of trash. It never actually operated, but it didn't matter. The real reason for the port wasn't actually to offer additional aid to the Palestinians, because if they wanted to offer additional aid to the Palestinians, they could have done so by forcing Israel to bring in more aid trucks into the Gaza Strip. They didn't have to build a $250 million port. No, they did that because Israel was refusing to let in aid. And this offered some semblance of plausible deniability to say, see, they let us put the port in here. Clearly, they care about getting in as much aid as possible, but there's just logistical problems. $250 million just for that. Tell me about how Doge is going after government funding. Kaya is a $100,000 pure breed Tibetan Mastiff that I actually stole from a Chinese orphan. And I paid the CCP $1 million for the extraction. I specifically wanted it to be stolen from a Chinese orphan. 100% purebred. A designer dog. And you know who transported her to the United States of America? Hamas. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.